going on, people? Welcome back to Nick J. Francis' channel again. And Arsenal have just beaten Liverpool 3-2. And what a game. What a game of football that was. That game was insane. I can't believe what I just watched. Gabby Martinelli comes and puts us 1-0 up in the first minute. I think it's like 70 seconds or something like that. First through ball, first shot, goal straight away. And that sets the tone for, like I've been saying, the Emirates Stadium this season becoming a fortress. I really, apart from Man City, who were freaks, and as far as I'm concerned, if whoever finishes second this season is like them winning a title, realistically, because Man City are just ridiculous. But the Emirates is becoming a fortress. I back us against any team at the moment in the league coming to play at the Emirates. I just feel so confident. I did back us to go to win, but I said I think we'll win, but I think it will be close, and that's exactly what's happened. I think I went 2-1, it was 3-2, and it played out similar to how I expected. I mean, the midfield battle was really, really interesting. There were moments when Xhaka and Partey were dominating and moving that ball really quickly. Then there were moments when Thiago and Henderson were dominating and showing their real experience and moving the ball quickly. And it really was the battle of the midfield. Whoever's midfield was on top at that time, that was who was going to create chances, and ultimately get the goals. And I thought Liverpool played really, really well. Obviously, they've been on a tough run of form at the moment. But, you know, in football, nothing is certain. But the only thing that's certain in this game that I knew coming into this game was that Trent Alexander-Arnold was going to get cooked, was going to get peppered, peri-peried, chili challenged, whatever you want to call it, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? Because Martinelli was going to rinse him. He's rinsed him once or twice before already. And as good as Liverpool are, Trent has been on a poor run of form. We all know that. Everyone's been talking about it. And I think Martinelli would have been licking his lips coming to play against Trent for this game. And that's what he did. He got in behind him straight away, scored, and that just really unsettled Liverpool, and it put them in a position where they don't want to be against Arsenal at home, chasing the game. They come back, and it was a battle of the mentality monsters. It's the mentality monsters that Arteta's building and the mentality monsters that are sort of falling away at the moment with Liverpool, because they came back after 35 minutes, and I think they were up for about 10 minutes, and then just before half-time, Bukayo Saka gets a goal, and it's Gabby Martinelli again. They're trying to double up, triple up on him, and he's got so much, he's adding composure to his game. He used to just be a runner, a direct runner. Now he's slowing the game down, adding composure, adding passing, goals, finishing. And for the second goal, he sees 2 or 3 men are against him. He cuts back. And while they're so focused on him because he scored the last goal, and we know how much Klopp has spoken about him and would have highlighted him as being a real target man, he drives the ball low and hard across the box, Valverde-esque, like the Champions League final last season, only the other way. And Bukayo Saka pops up, and then they come back again through Roberto Firmino, and then Bukayo Saka again with a penalty. The penalty for me was a little bit soft. There's contact, any contact in the box, it happens, you get the pen, and it's one of them. If it was against us, I'd be annoyed, but we've had so many of them against us in the last few seasons that I really struggle to empathise with any team when they get it against them, because if any of the top 6 teams have been giving away silly fouls for years, it's us. We go all the way back to David Luiz with Raul Jimenez's knee hitting him and then him going over, all those years ago when the rebuild was just kind of starting to happen. And this was a real trust the process game. We've been saying trust the process for 2 or 3 years. Some man have a long-term view of football and they can see things. Some man just don't, and they care about the immediate. But this was, even though it was a close game, Liverpool was still a very good team. This was a game of okay, cool. Every week there's a new test, right? When we play Crystal Palace, that was a test. As soon as we beat them, they were no longer a test no more. Do you know what I'm saying? And then we played Tottenham. Tottenham was a test. But then when we beat Tottenham, they weren't really a test. Then when we play Liverpool, Liverpool's the real test. They're not really a test. So same thing they said about Man United. So it's like everybody's a test until such time as we beat them, and then they're no longer a test, apart from Man United. Obviously, we lost that game. So it's really important that in terms of narratives and football narratives, we as Arsenal fans in ourselves control what our own narrative is. I'm not expecting us to win the title, although 23, nearly 25% of the league has gone, and we're still top of the table. But I know that we're an injury or 2 away from being on a not poor run of form, but having to completely adjust how we play, because our starting 11 is so crucial. And Nketiah and Vieira and Lokonga are coming through slow, and we're starting to build that, but we're not where City is in terms of squad depth. So that's why City will always be the title the title favourites, and maybe we are title contenders, title pushers. We're the team to push City this season, and I'll be more than comfortable with that because we can go into the summer transfer window and buy a couple more players and keep building this squad. But yeah, we can't allow people to tell us what is and what isn't a test. Any game in the Premier League is a tough game. Any game against the top 6 team is a really, really tough game. This is a team that won Champions Leagues and leagues in the last 2-3 seasons. So, we can't look at them like they're nothing. We have to take a lot of confidence. People are going to say Arsenal fans are getting gassed, they're getting excited. Why wouldn't we be gassed? Why wouldn't we be excited? 9 games in, we've only lost 1. And even in the one that we lost, we looked the better team. We looked the stronger team. We look so good at the moment. We forced Klopp to have to take off Trent. We forced Klopp to have to take off Salah. I can't remember which one of their defenders came off, but yeah, they brought on Konate, Joe Gomez. So we forced them into making these changes and making these decisions because of how we dominated the game, which is really rare and really interesting because we didn't actually dominate the ball. Liverpool had more possession than we did, but even with less possession, which we don't normally have, but even with less possession, we managed to get more shots on target, and ultimately all that matters is more goals. Do you know what I mean? Even for the penalty, like I said, I do think the penalty was a little bit soft, but at the end of the day, when you're in that area, you're in the box, we are constantly keeping pressure, someone's going to break. If it's not that foul, it's a handball, it's a different foul, it's a deflection. All of these things matter in a game of football, especially when it's close like it was today. So unbelievable performance yet again. Trust the process, always keep trusting the process. Do you know what I'm saying? In your life, nothing changes unless you make a change, and sometimes when you make a change in life, you can't see where that change is actually going to affect you further down the road. Do you know what I'm saying? So you can't see it now, and that's what this trust the process thing means. There were things happening when we had Socrates or Mustafi or Pepe or Guendouzi, and people couldn't see what the plan was 3-4 years in the future. When Arteta said he wants to win the Champions League in 5 years, it seemed outrageous, it seemed ridiculous. It still seems outrageous now, don't get me wrong, but there's a real chance of us coming second this season, which would be great. I said top 4 in a trophy. Second place in a trophy would be amazing. Winning the league would be, we'd have to build this guy a statue because nobody predicted us to win the league. Nobody, not a single person. Mikel Arteta himself wouldn't have predicted us to win the league at the beginning of the season. So if that were to happen through some twist of fate, that would be unbelievable. So the Arsenal City game is going to be really, really interesting. But Liverpool have been a bogey team for us for a long time. We've been a team who have played good football, reasonably good football, but defensively have been a bit weak. And Liverpool have been a team that just exploit weak defenses, put the threat in you. They had the kind of team, you're looking at the team sheet and you were seeing in seasons gone by, you're seeing Salah and Mane, and you're getting nervous and intimidated. And when we had defenders that were liable to make a mistake, they would get pressed into making those mistakes. But now what we see, and they still have Salah, don't get me wrong, but now what we see is other teams are looking at our team sheet and going, they've got Martinelli, they've got Saka, they've got Gabby Jesus, and they are starting to get pressured into making those mistakes, because that's what that early goal was. It was sloppy play at the back, a little bit lethargic, but it was fast, high pressing. There were so many times that, the fullbacks, Trent and Tsimikas, were just pressed by 2-3 people, and they really struggled to get the ball out. And when they did get the ball out, it was if Thiago and Henderson's passes weren't perfect, we were right on top of them and turning the ball over and attacking ourselves. So, like I say, there were spells in the game where Thiago and Henderson really bopped the ball really well. They are still top-class players, especially Thiago. He's got a good balance of being a physical player and a technical player, but our midfield came out on top today overall. And, Tsimikas did well against Saka, but you only need a couple of moments for Saka to get in and score. You lose concentration for a second. That's what he can do. That's what it means to be a quality player. Do you know what I'm saying? So overall, I'm super happy with that game. Man of the match performance for Gabby Martinelli. And we see again with Mikel Arteta is his coaching and development. Like when he came in, Gabby was the guy that got the ball, ran down the line 100 miles an hour, didn't have a lot of end product, didn't have a lot of composure. Now we're seeing, like I say, we're seeing goals, we're seeing assists. Last season, it was Smith Rowe. People were saying Smith Rowe's a good player, but does he have goals in him? Ended up being one of our top goal scorers last season. So this guy has the ability to look at players and develop players. Do you know what I'm saying? And he's got a good balance of being both a coach and a manager. He's managing the team and managing the club while coaching them actually on the coaching pitch, on the training ground, and then we're seeing how that translates into the actual pitch. So, do you know what I'm saying? Top of the table, we have 8 weeks before the World Cup. Like I say, that is going to be the moment that judges everything. But October, we know we've got 9 matches, two games down, both wins. We go again on Thursday against Bodo Glimt. Again, we should really be winning that. And if we can come out of Thursday, if we can come out of October unbeaten in these 9 games across Europe and in the Premier League, then we're going to put ourselves in such a good position for going into the World Cup and seeing what happens when we get back from the break. And like I said, what puts Man City over us at the moment is that if any of their players come back injured, they will just go into the transfer market and buy a player. Our club is less likely to do that. But let's see, we've not been on the edge of winning the title or even competing for a title for a very long time. So let's see, let's give these guys a chance after what they've done in the last couple of summer windows. Let's see what they do, or summer and January transfer windows. Let's see what they do in the January transfer window. If we are really close to pushing City all the way, do they go and buy someone? Let's give them a chance and see. But at the moment, watching this team play is just a breath of fresh air. Man of the match for me is Gabby Martinelli, really setting the trend or setting the intention of the game from the first minute of running at them. He probably surprised himself that he got that goal. But that's what it is. You put your opponent on the back foot. Now they're overthinking everything, and we can just rattle them. So I do think the penalty was a little bit soft, but it doesn't matter. You're pressing them into making mistakes. And like I said, if it wasn't that mistake, it would have been a different mistake. And that's what we do with this high pressing football. So I can't even complain. I'm over the moon at the moment. Do you know what I'm saying? Trent got cooked. We knew that was going to happen. Gabby's a superstar. What more is there to say? Do you know what I'm saying? So that's all for now, and I'll catch you lot on the next one.